What are the typical business goals and objectives when we are talking about establishing information security governance or maintaining in existing organizations? Of course, this includes some kind of a framework, and this framework contains six sticks. What are those 6 points or what are those 6 parameters of a framework? Let's have a look. Hello team, welcome to the another session of the CISM review manual 15th edition book where we are preparing for CISM certifications. Let me just give you a quick walkthrough what we have covered so far. So as a part of chapter number 1, information security governance, section number 1, we have already covered task statement and knowledge statement, and for the section number 2 we have already covered the introduction part, this one, and then the information security governance overview, importance of information security governance, outcome of information security governance, and effective information security governance. Now in today's video we are going to cover business goal and objectives. All right, so let's get started. So let me write the chapter name first. So this is chapter 1, information security governance, and we are covering topic business goals and objective. Okay, so friends, what happen is like in corporate governance. Okay, so let's say this big circle is what we called, or what we consider as a corporate governance. Okay, now corporate governance is what is a nothing is but is a set of some responsibilities and BILITIE responsibilities and practice that must be exercised or that must be followed by board of directors and as well as senior management. And what they are going to do, they must have to set some goals. Okay, and what does it mean by setting the goals? That means they need to provide strategic direction. And not only the providing the direction, but they also need to ensure that what objectives are achieved. That is also one of the key responsibilities of board of directors and senior management. All right, so they have to make sure that the objective are achieved and the risk. Okay, so these are two things. Number 1 is objective must be achieved, and number 2 is risk is managed appropriately. And that also verify what that enterprise resources are used responsibly. Now coming to the strategic plan. Okay, so what does it mean when we are saying creation of a strategy? So basically a strategy is what? Strategy is the plan of what? To achieve an objective. Okay, that's one quick note. Now coming back to the original one, what we discussed about the value of the organization. So basically all these things, the objective, the risk managed properly. So in terms of a value of organization, the information security must support, means your information security program, your information security strategy, your information security governance must support business strategy. Okay, so it should not be like your information security is having some different direction or different approach other than this business strategy. It must be integrated, and this both need to make sure information security and business strategy that this activity what these are doing must take place to achieve the objective. The objective of what? Objective of the organization. Must achieve the objective of the organization. So that's the whole purpose of all the exercises what we are doing as a part of a business goals and objective which has been set by corporate governance, and that is one of the responsibility, and we have to be do those kind of practices which is been done by business of board of director and senior management, and the whole purpose or the whole goal is to provide the strategic direction, and direction is to ensure that the objective are achieved. Objective here means the business objective, the objective of the organization to sustain or to grow, and also the risk whatever we have should be managed appropriately. The meaning of appropriately means is either is mitigated, or if in case of any risk which we cannot be handled at that time, then the probability and impact should be very minimal, or it should be considered as an exception risk which we can consider as an acceptable risk. All right. And there is a note saying that strategy is the plan to achieve an objective, and information security supports business strategy to achieve the objective. Objective of what? Objective of that organization. Now there is one important point: information security governance. Okay, this is information security governance, and this is what? This is, as I said, corporate governance. So information security governance is a subset of corporate governance, and it provides the strategic direction for security activity and ensuring that again that objective must be achieved. Not even achieve, it also ensure that information security risk is appropriately managed, this thing, and enterprise information resources are used effectively and efficiently. That's the whole purpose of information security governance. To achieve information security governance effectively, it must be work, or it must be maintained, or it must be considered as a one of the framework. What does it framework is all about? Let's see. So the governance framework the governance framework will generally consist of the following points. So basically there are 6 frames which we need to consider to create the governance framework. Okay, so what are those? We'll explain in detail. 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. Let's start with the first one. So basically the first frame or the first set of or the first pillar of this governance framework will be that security strategy must be linked with whom? With, as I said earlier, business objective. Friends, this is I'm explaining in detail about the framework. Please just focus on this. Okay. So the first framework or the first set of the frame will be that security strategy must be linked with the business objective. Okay. Now the second will be, okay, let's make it like this: the governing or the existing security policy should be managed with the intent and also address each aspect of strategy, controls, and of course regulations. So let me explain this again. So basically, governing security policies that clearly express management. This policy must express, or this must be very clear, that this is going to manage the intent of governing policies, what this policy is going to do. And this also cover the strategy of that governing policies, what are the controls and what are the regulations we are covering as a part of the governing policies. All right, so that's the second part of governance framework. Now coming to the third part. Third is what? The standards. Complete set of standard for each policies. And this will definitely ensure that people, procedure, practice, and technology compel with, or they must be comply with whatever we have as a terms of policy requirement. And this also set some appropriate security baseline for the enterprise or for the organization. So basically the next framework will be that a complete set of standard of each policy to ensure that people, procedure, practice, and technologies comply with the policy requirement, and that again is going to set the appropriate security baseline for that enterprise. So this is playing a very critical or very crucial role, because here using this framework we are providing security baseline. That's one of the very key activity. Next, fourth point will be the effective security organization structure with sufficient authority and adequate resources. Okay, so an effective security organization structure having sufficient authority and adequate resources should be available. And this also making sure that there should no conflicts, void of conflict of interest. Conflicts of interest. Conflict of interest between whom? Between the enterprise security governance and existing security governance or existing enterprise governance we already have in that organization. Alright, so those conflicts should be avoided. And of course, your security organization structure, what we are proposing as a part of a information security program, that must contain some authority, and of course they must have some resources, some adequate resources. All right, what are those resources? We'll cover in our upcoming sessions. Okay, now the fifth point is we need to define workflow. All right, workflow and also some kind of a structure. And these two things will do what? These will do assistant. They will assist in what? In defining responsibilities, and accountability. For information security governance. So basically the next point is we need to explain, or we need to make sure that there is a proper workflow. Workflow means here you must know what are the things you need to do as a part of establishing the information security governance or information security program. There must be some structure, and using those two things you can assist in defining. You are able to define, or you are able to explain the higher management, your senior management, board of directors, that what are the responsibilities and accountability for information security governance we have. So that, and why we are doing, by the way, all these things, because you need to integrate the existing information security governance, or if not existing you need to create the new one, then that should be integrated with the enterprise governance. All right, and the next thing is, of course, once you do this, you need to create some kind of a matrix, and of course you need to monitor. Okay, so you need to institutionalize, or you need to making sure that there is some metrics and monitoring processes. Why? To ensure that compliance, and also need to provide feedback on control effectiveness, and provide the basis of appropriate management decision. So this will again help in control effectiveness. and based on those feedback and based on those matrices, based on those monitoring the processes, based on the compliance rules and regulation, if we are following or no. So here we are making sure that by providing all these things, that this will going to be develop, or this is going to be provide the basis for appropriate management decision. Of course, once we are doing the controls effectiveness, then of course based on the feedbacks, and if we are doing correct monitoring, properly monitoring of different processes, and of course the matrices which we already discussed in our earlier video, that these metrics should be well defined and agreed between both the parties, means the information security governance and the enterprise governance as well. So these kind of things is going to be definitely help to establish the appropriate management decisions. All right, so these are the 6 important point or the governance framework that generally consist in any typical organization for establishing of business goals and objective. So how's the video, friends? Hope you are liking the video. Please do let me know if in case you require any further details on any topic or any point you want me to explain further. Last but not the least, please do share, do comment and subscribe if you have not subscribed yet. Okay, that is something which makes me motivated. Do like, comment, share and be in touch. Enjoy. Bye bye, take care.